Hey guys, I'm gonna stall a little bit. We still don't have any sign of Wally, so let's hope that he's okay. Cassandra Pope, I don't recognize that name. New here. Okay, good. Mantis God is here talking about Juglones. All right. Yeah, I hope he's okay. I mean, he's old, so we gotta hope he's okay. He might be in the bath. He likes to take long bubble baths, apparently. He was around for the first batch of Mr. Bubble. So, for those of you that don't know what Mr. Bubble is, you're too young. Let's see. So, what's some news? So we at ISO Buddies have recently joined forces, I guess, become a brand ambassador for Jabberwork. If you remember, we had Josh, whose name I can't remember. Josh Ferris was on a couple weeks ago for his business profile. He's eating a stack of 100 waffles. I can't wait for that. So, yes, Josh Ferris was on. There's Wally. He can wait for me now. So, Nanette's here too. I'm going to wait till she gives him a look and does this. So, yes, we set up a brand ambassadorship where we are brand ambassadors now for Josh Ferris and Jabberwork. So if you like stuff, he's got stuff. He's doing vinyl card decals. He's doing T-shirts. He's got a great selection. He is open a little bit, or he was, to doing like custom work. It's not cheap, but he's really, really good. I don't know the prices, honestly. We're supposed to be getting a coupon code. We may have already gotten that and I missed it. And definitely a code that would give us a portion of whatever you buy from him if you use our code, and we get a little slice of that. I keep saying we like I'm royalty. The ISO Buddies gets a little sliver, so we can keep eating awesome stuff. So, which we actually have a treat again this week. It's been a while since I found something. So, is Miles here too? Miles is here. Today is Tuesday. Yeah, so that's the news for us right now. Let's see, what else? We have other news. I'm going to get it out of the way. Vic's going to yell at you guys throughout the episode to like and subscribe. So, Cassandra, you're new. You might as well. Wally was late, Cassandra, so I'm making him wait in the green room for a minute. So, hopefully he laughs. He's not laughing. He gave me one of these. So, I'm going to get a Fred Sanford in a minute. So, yeah, we're just stalling. We're going to learn about some fantastic tips for being at the show, being a vendor. If you watched Wally's show, it was last week. He talked about a little bit of during the show, but some pre-show stuff. So his system for getting everything together. It mostly deals with spreadsheets, from what I understand. So, yeah, let's bring him on now and hope that everything works.
Yeah, I don't know where he's at. I've tried to join this thing, and I'm just sitting back here in the green room. So
I would like to go back and read my book.
We're going to be on. Should I just hit end broadcast?
Hit end broadcast. I'm going to go read.
Welcome.
I'm going to go watch Gilligan's Island, and
Yes, the Gilligan's Island reference. How you doing, Skipper?
Why you?
Good to have you. I had to research the Blackhawks logo to make sure I got it right this week. I wanted to get what I got correct.
I always feel like my hat is wrong, like it's unbalanced. But I think now my hat is fine. It's just my head is unbalanced.
Mm-hmm. Nanette said you have a weird shaped head, so she let us know.
I have an Adam Sandler shaped head.
I will say, Adam Sandler shaped, not shaped like his head, just shaped like all of Adam Sandler.
My head is shaped like Adam Sandler?
I mean, that's your words. That's not me. Okay. I'm just saying it's shaped like Adam Sandler, like the full-sized, not just his head. So we got Cassandra Pope here. Does that name? Do you recognize that name?
Cassandra. Cassandra shows up at our table at every show and says hi. I love Cassandra and her family. Victor, Frank, Miles. Oh my gosh, everybody's here.
All seven are here. We're excited to have them. So I watched your video, and I need to tell you something that's really funny. So I watched it while my daughter was watching her shows, so I have to watch it in a small view with the closed caption on. and pretend I'm deaf so I can watch that. And so I didn't get any sound, but there's a point in the video, like about halfway through, where Nanette corrects you, and I counted them. So the closed caption just goes, no, 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 no. 14 times. Like the whole thing was no. And it was the best.
So
it was the best.
You watched with closed caption on. I usually watch videos with the sound, but I don't watch them because I'm working downstairs. So the two of us, we're a perfect pair.
When I'm doing my hobbies, I watch the videos with closed caption or with the sound on. But I feel like I can't watch Gecko videos or build videos. That way I have to watch them.
There you go.
Like I have to be focused to watch them and see. So I don't usually watch your videos without watching, even though this was just you guys talking. This would have been a perfect one to watch and be doing something else.
Well, like I said beforehand, I certainly hope that this show is completely different than mine. I think that we have some visual aids here, some show and tell. So we're ready, man. We're ready, except that the one problem is that I didn't have dinner. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to snack a little bit while we talk.
I am too. All right. So today, brought to you by Taco Bell. These are Taco Supreme Cheddar Crisps.
Ooh.
Which, if you know anything about the show, Cassandra, you might be new. I try new snacks on the show. I try to do it every episode. I hope, well, I don't hope, but I believe these are going to taste like crap. So I love cheddar crisps, but fake Taco Supreme flavor. Like I want to see, I haven't opened them yet. So you guys get the smell test, just like with the vegan turkey jerky, which was, yeah, that was bad. The isopods didn't eat it. The dairy cows didn't eat it in a week. So that's yeah. Don't buy near meat, or it's not near meat. So Culver's chicken tenders. What flavor is your Boom Chicka Pop?
Kettle corn.
Oh, yeah, we're brothers. Like the Boom Chicka Pop one is the only, oh, it's yours? I knew it was that.
Go get your own.
She wisdom. All right, so the smell test is on.
So this sounds like that joke where the two guys are walking and they come upon this pile of stuff, and the one guy looks at the other. Oh my gosh, this looks like poop. And the other guy goes, "Well, smell." No, I'm going to smell. Smell. So he picks it up, smells. Feel. Does this feel like poop? It feels like poop. Smell. It smells like poop. Taste. Guy, I'm not going to taste it. He finally eventually tastes it, and the other guy goes, "Does it taste like poop?" And the other guy goes, "Yeah, it tastes like poop." Good thing we didn't step in it.
I feel like that's you and me, and I'm the guy that you got to eat the poop. So Frank the Tank, first he said that you were late because you were eating 100 waffles, so I hope they were good. That's got to be an inside joke. No?
99 waffles on the counter, 99 waffles on the counter. You take one down and eat it around. I don't know. Yeah, it's an inside joke.
Then he said that there's earthworm jerky, so I have to look for that. I will definitely eat that on the show. So this is my taste test, and then we'll get into it. I actually have questions this week, too.
Hi, Chris.
And I'm sure there will be some crossover. So, yeah, Chris Biggs could get me to eat poop, too. It mostly just tastes like cheese with a little bit of, like, taco flavor. They're not bad.
Good.
I love a cheese crisp. I'm very glad that they're snacks. But I'm
From
guessing this is like
cheese, you know, that's all that there is in life, right?
Yeah, that's why I can't make it out of your town. I will say the last time I visited you, I filled up my tank. The gas was like $3.50, which for us in Illinois, that's like half off. So that was great.
Not anymore.
No, it went down for us? Did it go up for you?
It went up, but now it's coming back down.
Okay, we got down to like $4 this week, and I was very excited for that.
We're at $3.80 something right now.
Okay, all right, enjoy it.
I feel kind of bad. I'm eating. You're eating. Sorry, Nanette, you don't get to eat anything.
I could eat. I had my snack right here.
I know Nanette's got snacks.
I like the veggie snack because I'm taking care of myself. So I'm eating the vegetable.
No, don't do it.
This is the good one. This is the veggie one.
Come
it
on.
has 10 times the veggies. I'm trying to lose some weight, so it's going to work.
Is it like broccoli?
No, well, I don't know
This is
yet. 'Cause I
awesome.
haven't tasted it yet.
Oh, she ate it. There
A
is
whole
buildup here.
spoonful.
She just downed it.
She just downed it. That's not the first time.
It doesn't really taste like anything.
It looks a little chunky. Were you guys? Did you guys not hydrate that one enough?
It's chunky because it's old. If it sits for like a year, it starts getting real chunky.
Give me the garbage can.
It's the old one.
Thanks.
Guys, comment on the video. Comment in the video what you thought was actually in that bag, and we'll see. We'll figure something out for the winner. So
it was Supreme Isopod Chow, of course.
No.
The veggie one? Oh, apparently it wasn't good.
It doesn't have the right vegetables.
She's drinking pineapple crush to wash that down.
I think it needs cheese. A little cheese in there.
Ooh, cheese for the pots. Might have never gone for cheese. But maybe you could do taste tests at the show. Like give them a little something and see what pops off. Very controlled study.
We could do the veggie versus the protein. And it's kind of a Pepsi challenge.
I'm not doing that again.
You can give them Pepsi.
Yeah.
What is this? Frank? Frank is like Biggs. He's going to derail this show. So Frank is talking about eating Pangea. I have tasted all the Pangea that I've given my geckos. I've tasted each flavor that I've given them.
How was it?
Not bad. They're not as sweet as the fruit even. So it was like that flavor, but without a lot of the sugar. So I was a little disappointed. And then Biggs wants me to eat a dried minnow. Not an eyeball. I won't eat an eyeball, but I would try a minnow. I'll try minnow next week, maybe. All right, we'll do that.
Is that like a threat or something? Eat a dried minnow? Eat a dried minnow.
Biggs is just trying to get me to eat stuff. So, you know those eyeballs? Who makes the eyeballs, the dried eyeballs?
Oh.
I forget the name of the company. Their stuff's
ISO something.
It's a little pricey. So
it is.
It might be reasonably sourced, but it's a little pricey. Oh, Russ is here too. This is an all-star cast. Tell you what.
Oh my gosh. So I was going to wear the Aquarimax Pets shirt, but because we have a show coming up in a couple of weeks, I had to wear the scaled up
good
shirt.
I've been seeing their ads. I think it's because I subscribe to you. I see their ads a lot, but I don't get to go. They're a little far from me.
A little bit. Fond du Lac.
Janesville's about as far north as I go for a show.
Yeah.
Especially now with gas.
Reptile show. Yeah.
Yeah.
ISO peepers.
ISO peepers. All right.
Heather
I knew Heather would know. Heather showed up. I didn't notice her slip into the chat. Or Russ, apparently. So hello to all my viewers. 12 viewers today. That's a record number almost. It's big numbers. Wally pulling down the big numbers. So
this is for Chris. What?
No.
Wow.
Is he taking his shirt off?
I've been censored.
He took his hat off last time on accident, but he did. Perfect, Adam Sandler. These are amazing, honestly.
How I roll.
Sideways. So, what I learned from your video is what I suspected. Nanette does most of the work in the beginning. It looks like you do the work at the end. Yeah, no one's surprised.
At the end.
So
what do you do at the end?
He cleans out the tubs. He said it takes him a couple hours.
Oh, sorry.
So, because he's down there, he's taking a nap in the middle and get back up.
I'm watching YouTube videos.
Listening to YouTube videos.
Yeah.
So I want to focus more on, you talked about it kind of a bit, but for about a third of the video, but my question was more for like at the expos. So, and a little bit of the prep. So when you're starting to go, like when you decide to go to Scaled Up Expo, you're vending there, yeah?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a bigger show than Show Me usually is, right?
It's about the same. It's very different. It's just very different. All these shows, every location is different. Every show Show Me is different than Scaled Up, which is different than Sewerfest, which is obviously different than NARBC. They're just all different. They have their unique characteristics. They have their good points, or not so many bad points. Every one of these show coordinators And I'm not just saying that because I'm wearing, Dylan and Brittany's Scaled Up Expo shirt, but every one of the folks that are putting these shows on are doing a great job. So, they're all different.
Okay, fantastic. So my question for the shows, like the different shows, by now what to expect. Like, how long have you been doing shows?
Probably 20 years. We've done several hundred shows.
Well, that I know, but I didn't know how much you packed that into 1 year. 20 years, over 20 years, that's a good amount. So you've seen it come and go, actually. You were around 20 years ago. There was crazy stuff available at shows. Like,
we had, small dinosaurs on the tables
We had
and
chickens.
There were chickens at shows.
So
Some of the shows locally, you get live quail, a lot of birds and mammals.
yeah, there's a show in Illinois that I used to vend. I don't anymore.
We
just don't have the time. It's a little bit of a drive, but I vended next to a person that was selling chickens. And a good friend and I were talking after the show, all packing up. He's helping me pack up. And I said, yeah, it's kind of weird, being right next to somebody who's selling chickens. I saw some people buy them. I hope they take good care of them as pets. And Steve looked at me and said, you have no clue, do you? I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, this is a snake show. Lots of snakes. People aren't buying these chickens as pets. That was interesting. It was just a different mindset.
Well, you had everything there. I've been to shows where they had kinkajous for sale, which, man, did I make some calls. I literally made calls to be like, hey, guy, I need to borrow like $1,200. Thankfully, all my friends knew better. They were like, no. And then I looked up kinkajous. They're not good pets. So they like to climb to the highest point they can get to and make their bathroom there. So they poop down the wall or pee down the wall. So
Nice.
yeah, not that. I was like, I'm out. Even if they're in a cage. So
yeah, our 3 boys moved out. We don't have that problem, and I don't want to start it again.
It's Wisconsin. They got to shimmy up that birch tree.
That's gross.
That's really gross.
It really is.
So, when you're prepping for these shows and each one's different, are you keeping in your mindset like, okay, we're going to this show. This sold good last time. Let's pack these. Or some people showed interest in these but didn't buy. Because I know you have spreadsheets for that. Like, how many people mentioned crested geckos and didn't buy? How many people looked at crested geckos and didn't buy? Because I saw Nanette's pencil smoking in the background the last time I was there.
Good question. I try to keep as much of that information in my mind as I possibly can. But my mind is like 51st Dates, 5-second Bill or whatever his name was. So yeah. It's like gone. So everything that I do is in spreadsheets. We come home, we've got the sheet that we use at the show, and that I think has one of those sheets here. And we take that sheet, we summarize, that goes into my income expense report. But when we pull for the next show, when we're looking at animals, we're using that sheet to make some decisions. We're using it to say, do we want to bring 20 cups of dairy cows? Do we want to bring the weird geckos, the rare geckos? Did any of them sell at the last show? So every show is different, and every show has its uniqueness like that, especially. We always bring crested geckos. We always bring, picked Periodora picked if we can. We always bring isopods. We bring the standard stuff, but maybe we don't bring 20 cups of dwarf whites. Maybe we only bring 5 because, that area, that show has other dark frog breeders that, might dictate how many we really sell. So we try to keep all that in mind, but we go right back to the spreadsheets or the sheets that we take from the show, from the previous shows, and we use them a lot.
Okay.
And we compare them per show. So we compare it like Sewer Fest to Sewer Fest. The scaled up to scaled up, the show me to show me, so that we know exactly what they're. And with the scaled up, it's the different locations because they have Green Bay, they've got Rothschild, they've got Fond du Lac. So each of those locations even are different for us in sales.
Wow. Okay. I like the thought of I'm always thinking of marketing and trying to get something going. And I notice at your tables, you have the staples, like you've always got your, and this is based on the last, I've seen you at 3 shows vending. So bear with me. That's limited knowledge over hundreds of shows.
No, it's,
But in those 3 shows, 100% of those times, you've had your staples like your chows and Pangea, which good. People, that's a big source for people to get them from shows. I prefer to buy it from shows from small vendors than to buy it on Amazon. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but I'm due for some Pangea right now, actually. So yeah, you've got your staples. You've got some staple isopods, some staple lizards. I don't think I've ever seen you at the show with anything crazy as far as isopods are, like nothing over like $50 a dozen or something. I'm sure you have. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Unless they sold.
Already sold.
Okay, that's possible too. Yeah.
Probably.
Then that's good news.
Yeah. Real quick, I just want to say real quick, a quick shout out to Angie. Thank you very much for joining us, Angie.
Hi, Angie.
Miss you. Love seeing you on the chat. Just wanted to say hi. So go ahead.
I'm going to bug you for Angie's contact information because I want to talk to her about mushrooms and
there you go.
So, Angie, if you're into that, let me know. Leave a comment or something so I remember, because I'm like Wally, it's a revolving door. I have an idea and then it goes. So, or it gets like Elf and it's just running in a circle and I can't get it out of my head while I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah.
So what were you saying about shows and Nanette?
Go ahead.
You were saying something. I was.
A lot of times, we'll publish our list on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We'll say, here's what we're bringing to the show. Here's some pictures. And a lot of times we've sold, I'll say that every show that we do, we've probably sold a quarter of the show already before we walk in the door. And I'm not, trying to boast or anything. It's just doing that promotional before a show. We'll have people, and I'll sometimes say, I only have one of these. I'm going to bring a pair of, I don't know, Nephurus melii. And then people say, oh my gosh, melii. So they'll contact me and we'll work something out Saturday. Saturdays are really busy with that back and forth with emails and messenger and everything, but that happens with isopods too. So I might post, we have some Cuvirus red skirt, white phase that we're bringing, or zebra, the yellow zebras that we're bringing, and we'll sell them before the show even starts. Or VIP, a lot of the shows have a VIP an hour before the start of the show, and a lot of times, and if you want something special, if you're looking at, I have to get a pair of chihuahuas, and I want this special, use that VIP option on these shows. Go an hour early. I know it's a little bit more money. I think Sewerfest was another $15, but go early and grab the animals, before the crowds come in.
That's a good idea. I saw that in your video mentioning the VIP, and I had never taken advantage of that because you just said to meet and greet, to do meet and greets too, let alone just buy stuff. Because I don't buy anything ever at a show. So I never have a budget to spend at the show. It's always like getting there and lunch. So I like that idea of getting it done ahead of time. And then people can message you too, because you're always posting pictures like you and Andrew especially are always posting pictures, Andrew at DEA Exotics, of your stock and new babies. And so do you get messages too, like, hey, I see you're going to be at Scaled Up. Can you bring X Gecko?
Yes. Okay. So this last video that we did before the Sewerfest show, I published that we were bringing cave geckos, and I published that we were bringing bandids and a couple of other animals, and we never got them to the show.
Because I sold.
I mean, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's good news for you. Maybe not for the people that went to the show and were looking for something cool, but if they never saw it, they didn't know.
Right.
I always feel like that guy at the show that I see something I want and I go, oh, I just got here. This is the first table. I'm going to walk around. And then I get back and it's gone, obviously, because, of course, somebody else thinks it's cool, too. Like that amazing red and blue crested gecko, that red and or pink and blue crested gecko you have.
You like that one?
That was amazing. So, guys, I went to the show. I saw Wally, and I was looking through his cresteds, and I literally almost threw the rest on the floor like, these are trash, because there was one that was pink and like a rose pink and a baby blue. And I noticed there was something different about this gecko besides the color, but I was like, Wally. And he was helping a person. He was doing the Wally thing. He was educating someone. And I almost pushed that person by the face. Like, I got a question. Shut up.
This is important. This is important.
So, I'm holding it. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And the price in it was like $200 or something. It was totally reasonable for something so amazing. Well, it was shedding. Obviously, it was shedding. It had to peel back from its nose, and that was it yet. So I don't know what color was underneath, but yeah, we talked about that for a hot minute. And while he entertained it before he let me know it was shedding, he said, no.
You did you picked up that gecko and you did the Arnold Horseshack. Oh,
100%. I know you knew my eyes because I saw Nanette see my eyes and be like, oh, geez, what's he want to know now? So I was just like, oh, what is this?
And you know me as a salesman, I looked at the price tag and I went, I put $200 on that? Oh my God, Nanette, what are we thinking? This should be $1,000. I tell you what, I'll go for 200 since I already have the price on it for 200. For you, I'll do the $200.
Right? Got thousands and thousands of viewers, but got around 15,000 subs really quickly. Yeah, that wasn't me, Frank. How's your hand, Nanette?
My hand is okay, I think. I did some possible tendon damage. We're waiting for the hand specialist next week.
Okay.
Foolishly carrying too many things on the fingers and bent the finger back.
And hitting me on the back of the head, I think.
Doing too much work at those shows, clearly.
This happened before the show this time.
Well, yeah, packing up, doing all the packing up, I'm sure.
Yeah, it wasn't really much help with that.
Figuring out which bin is which.
Yeah.
Now that they're all reorganized. So then when you get to the show, you've got your, let's see, where are we at here? Show by show standard. Now the setup time you get there that morning. And then it's usually the one day that you're there, or is it the 2 days?
Most of the time it's the one day.
Yeah, there's a couple of shows that we have that are, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that's a lot. We did a Show Me Reptile show this spring. That was Saturday, Sunday.
It's fall.
Was it the fall?
Yeah.
You can tell me if it was yesterday. So we did that show, and that was a long show. That was a really long show. And as it turned out, and we talked to other people as well, well, we did Saturday and Sunday pretty much equated to what we normally do on a Sunday. Yeah. And that was true for just about everybody. But, it is what it is. And
it was the first time they did it, too. So we've tried it. We've done a couple, and I'd prefer not to.
They were trying to see how it worked. Okay.
Yeah. Which is completely different than something like an NARBC, especially something like a Schaumburg or a Tinley Park, where it is a Friday, kind of a VIP, and then Saturday and then Sunday. And it's very different all three of those days. Very different.
And now their thing, I know, is locked up tight because with security and everything, because you can't just take your stuff out 3 days in a row and set up. That's ridiculous. So that's good. Now, what I was going to ask is on the 2 day shows, do you have the security there or do you just kind of break down every day?
No, they had security for us.
So I'll tell the story of Tinley. I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago when we went to Tinley and did the 3 day set up Friday. I think it was Friday night. We got a call from Nanette's sister. Hey,
I wasn't there.
Nanette didn't go to the show. I can't remember. It was myself and Christopher, I think. Hey, Nanette's in the hospital. They're doing some tests. Don't panic. We're just trying to find out. So here I am after the show closed that night. Locked the doors. Men with AK-4. No. So, it's very heavily guarded, and nobody gets in. So now I'm kind of going back and forth. What do I do? Do I pack up? So we went and talked to the folks, and we said, my wife's in the hospital. And about the time we finally got them to agree to let us back in and grab our stuff and go home. And some of the thought was, too, let's just go. Let's just go and we'll come back. And we'll talk to Joe or Bob and say, just put a blanket over our stuff and leave it until Sunday, and we'll come back Sunday. But just about the same time that they said, this is against rule, blah, 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 we'll let you in. Got the call, and then that had gone through tests. It wasn't anything major. It was, she was being released. But there's a panic situation when you're, 2 hours away and you've got all your animals sitting on the table. And not that money matters at all, but you've pretty much paid for the show and the time and effort to set up. But just, being in all the publicity, the PR and everything, and then taking down the main part of the whole show. So that was a biggie. That was a hard one.
But it worked out. You got to stay, and I was fine.
That would be really tough. So I always have to do that thing. My mind is too pragmatic. I would have to do that thing like, okay, how bad is it? What's the situation?
Right.
All right. I'm not a doctor. I can't help you there, but I can stay on the phone with you.
My sister was told not to call him until I knew what was going on, and they called him anyway.
And we didn't know what was going on. It was just so up in the air.
Well, good for the sister calling you. Good. That's a good thing. That's what marriage is for. You guys have been married, what, like 5 or 6 years now?
Yeah. 5 good years.
I tell you what.
Oh, my God.
Before you could.
Yeah.
That was sad.
You hardly say that.
If you want, if you don't mind, if somebody can guess the number of years that we've been married, we'll send them an 8-ounce Supreme Isopod chow. If you're okay with that. If you're good.
All right. I got my answer in there. It's way over, but I put it in there.
Nanette,
it's way over.
Shirts you have on? Oh, no.
How about closest? Do you want to? I haven't looked at anything yet.
Nobody
you want to do
anything.
Closest without going over, or does that work?
Closest without going over is standard. That's IsoBuddy's rules.
All right.
So
that's IsoBuddy rules?
IsoBuddies.
Yep.
Okay.
It's my show. It's my rules.
There you go.
You give away what you want.
Years. In Wally years, maybe.
It feels like it.
How many years?
140? Frank says 168.
Wally, Frank is rough on you guys.
Right?
Hard pill to swallow is here too. Somebody asked if you got the spikies. Mantis God wants to know if you ever got spikies.
Did not, but never approached it. So it's kind of on me to go back and find out what, but it's fine.
Yeah.
No biggie.
What do we got here? We have 39, 40, 22, 30. I'm going to guess 31 is the one that's the most accurate. My guess of 38 was, I specifically went high, I think. 43.
I haven't seen it. Are you going to the
25?
Or are you checking our anniversary date to find out how many years it is?
Silencing my phone.
I'm trying to guess how old your kids are, because it's got to be just a couple years, if that.
27?
32, 33, 32.
Ooh.
32, I think. 32, 30. Yeah, somewhere around there, I think.
I picked my winner. I don't know if that's correct or not, but I think I know who.
And that does not have a calculator out.
We'll give it a
Wally probably needs that.
7. Get my socks off here. Hold on.
Leave your socks off.
He's going to get smacked in a second here. It's going to be great.
That's why your head is lopsided.
Frank typed what he was thinking. Don't do that, Frank. That's dangerous.
What's he doing?
He's typing what he's thinking. He's typing as he's thinking. That's dangerous, dude. That's yeah. That's why I was glad MySpace collapsed. There's too much stuff out there for me.
So we haven't seen the number yet. We've seen it really close.
I didn't see it.
Did you see it?
I think I saw it.
All right. What was the number? And I'll go through. We'll end it now. Everybody's talking about something else already.
Tell me what's the number?
37.
37. I did not see 37.
Am I right or wrong?
I saw 38.
Is it counting this year?
Well,
not yet,
right now it's
right,
37.
Yeah, it is 37.
I was the closest, but I went over. So who's the next one going over?
I was asking you, what do you want to do there?
Shasta. I would have given it to the next closest. That's great. I thought I was going really high because I didn't want to win. You know, it's funny. The closest without going over is bioactivity with 31.
Oh, Heather just guessed 37.
Oh, she did, huh? It's bioactivity with 31. He didn't go over. So, nice. Or she. I don't remember.
Catch me on Facebook. Send me a message, Wally Kern at gmail.com.
I'm positive that they know who you are. I'm positive that Bioactivity knows who you are.
Heather, I'm a big Kevin Smith fan as well.
Frank is thinking about a blue heeler puppy and I typed it. Yeah. We're living with one of those right now, a mix. Wow.
Lots of energy.
Major energy.
Speaking of reptile shows.
Is that where you got the blue heeler puppy?
It's not ours.
Oh, is it Christopher's?
It's Crystal's puppy.
Crystal.
Jordan and Crystal.
We're going to talk about Crystal in a couple minutes, but couple of things first. So your setup time is, you were saying that you get there at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Set up. VIP is 9. Because you guys have a good setup.
Yeah,
have a good setup.
I always go off of VIP. So VIP is 9 o'clock.
Okay.
It takes us about an hour to set up. Now, give or take a few minutes, 5-10 minutes. So I back that off to 8 o'clock. So we need to be there by 8. So now we accommodate for the drive. Surfest is exactly 1 hour. So now I back that off by an hour and we're at 7 o'clock. Then the way I am all the time, I have to be early to everything and bother people because I'm early. So now I back it off by, 15 to 20 more minutes. And then I back that off by about a half hour to 45 minutes of our, get up and grab a cup of coffee or something and then hit the road.
Okay. I lost my live chat somehow.
Oh.
Let's see. Here we go. I am not drinking A&W. It was Angie that actually won, but she said she doesn't need it. You'll have to ask her if she wants to donate it to Bioactivity for being second guest, but I didn't see it because she had something else in front of it, and I'm old. So, I'm not as young as I used to be. See, I like that. I like that you're getting there that early to get everything, make sure that it's set up. Your setup is pretty elaborate. So
it can be, and it depends too when you get there. Sometimes it's a new venue, and we had that happen this last summer with the scaled up shows.
Okay.
We ended up in a new location, which is an awesome location, but the tables are a foot smaller. They're not as deep as what they were. So It gave us that time to kind of adjust in our head what we had to do, how we had to change the table a little bit, how much space he could have, I could have. Lights that go on that table. The table lip is a different one than what we're used to. So it took a little bit more time to adjust for that. So little things like that happen.
Okay.
It just helps to get there early.
To get all those, to be able to adjust and adapt to all those situations. So the tables are there.
Yeah, everything is there.
Okay. Because I know we talked about it. I was upset at the last show because no one was there and the aisles were about this wide. And for someone my size, that's a major issue. So, yeah.
That was the Janesville show, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they couldn't, people were telling me it's because it was the time of month that the show was, that it's slow. Or the first one of the summer or something is always pretty slow for vendors. Is that something you noticed?
It is a little bit slower in the summer, but I never feel like we should accommodate slowness like that. What I do say is that we should accommodate the time of year where it's really heavy. And the time of year usually and shows are seasonal, but the big time is February. February and March are the really super big. November is really big. End of October, beginning of November is super busy. And then the springtime. And the springtime is, anybody guess why springtime is really busy at shows? Anyone? I want to see a comment from somebody that knows why people are ready to spend money in February and March. No ideas?
Oh, let me give him a couple seconds.
Bueller?
February and March. I'll let them think their thoughts. I just have a rough guess.
Can I catch Victor? Victor, we're pretty good with the shows.
It should be okay.
Yeah, we should be okay.
I go to the doctor next week and we'll find out what's going on. I did okay, but thank you. I did do okay this last time.
I wanted to address that though. Yeah, Bioactive is right on. But up to Victor's again, I want to mention that the hardest thing for me, the very, very, very hardest thing for me at these shows is having people that contact me on, Facebook or especially YouTube or Instagram with, Gecko dude, and then they show up at a show and say, "Hey, how's it going? I talked to you about that crested gecko," and it's like, so Victor, I kind of recognize you, but please, people, if you see us at a show, introduce yourselves and act like I have no flipping clue, because I probably don't, and say something like, "I talk to you all the time on YouTube," and just help us make that connection, because I feel really bad if I just kind of am standing there like a deer in headlights and don't recognize. I feel terrible about that. So,
well, he did that to me the first time I met him at a show, and I didn't even feel bad because I'd been watching your show for months, your YouTube show, before I met you in person. So I knew exactly what you guys looked like. Like, I was looking for the two of your faces. So yeah. From up here, from 6'4", I can see everybody from anywhere in the show. So I was scanning and I found you right away. And I was like, "Wally, hey, it's so nice to meet you." And I caught on pretty quick. It took about 30 seconds for me to realize that you were just like, "Hey, you."
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Great to see you too,
buddy.
Yeah. "Hey, man."
Wow, pal. I didn't think I'd see you here.
And as soon as I was like, "Oh, it's Johannes," and he was like, oh, hey. So yeah, definitely introduce yourselves. Like, we were Facebook friends by then, but my picture's never really me. So it's not, at that point, no one knew. Still no one knows who I am, but no one knew who I was at that point at all. So yeah, I'm 6'4", man. It's always shocking when people meet me in person. They're like, "Oh, geez," like, I feel like a Shrek every time. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, you're huge." So, and I'm wide too, so it doesn't help.
No, you're not. Can you show Victor's last comment about spring shows are popular? Victor, I think that's, and with all due respect, that's exactly the opposite. So we used to do, and I'm not trying to call anybody out. It's weird how that is. And it's shocking to me that it's this way. We used to do fish club shows, auctions and things like that. And in Milwaukee, we'd get, 12 inches of snow and the place would be packed. And I think it's because people just kind of sit in their house. They turn on the news. It's snowing. I don't want to be in here in 12 inches of snow. Let's go. Let's just get out of the house and let's do something. It's the same thing for reptile shows. I think weather doesn't have as big of an impact as we think. So we never ever look at, "Oh my gosh, it's 10 degrees out. Nobody's going to come to the show," or "It's raining cats and dogs. It doesn't matter."
No, we look at things like, "Oh, there's a Packer game on it. We're doomed."
Oh, it's deer hunting, opening day deer hunting season. We're screwed.
Bring like 5 geckos. Just hope for the best. Yeah, I will say, like, the highlight of going when it's bad weather, I always assume is because no one's going to be there. And that you're saying at Reptile Expos, like, when it's bad weather, I go, "Oh yeah, no one's going to be there. No one wants to stand in line. All the lines are indoors." That's so stupid. So yeah, it doesn't matter. So, but like going to the zoo, I'll go in the zoo when it's pouring rain or a blizzard, because it's your zoo. There's you and the keepers.
Yep.
And if you're me and you want to illegally touch like every animal at the zoo, because you're not legally allowed to touch them. I don't mean touch them in a weird way. So that came out really weird, and then I made it weirder. It's my rules, my show. So,
Josh, are you still there? I can't hear you.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, disassociate quick.
But
just disassociate. So, I like to go to the zoos or something outdoors when it's bad weather, because hey, you can kind of have fun. I don't know if you ever had a snowball fight at the zoo, but it's a blast.
It sounds
you can get the bears. You can get the bears to go check out snowballs. You can get them to do stuff. It's a really cool time. But anyway, yeah, I think that the weather always screws me up because I always assume nobody's going to be there, and I'm always wrong. And I don't go to shows all the time, but when I do, when it's bad weather, I'm always hype. And then I get there like, "What are you idiots doing out here? It's pouring rain." And I'm the idiot for going on purpose in the pouring rain. When you're there, I didn't notice. Do you guys allow for a square card, or Do you guys have a system for credit cards?
Yep, we use Square for credit cards, and I have my phone always with me, and I have the little adapter piece.
I feel like Square's the only one. Like Square's it, right?
That's the only one that we use.
We did before Square. Before the only thing that was out there was PayPal. This is many years ago at NERBC. We set up a computer. We had we accepted cards, credit cards, scanning. Right. Yeah, and we accepted money, obviously, but set up a computer so somebody could log into PayPal. And I felt like them using, even back, again, this is probably 10 or 12 years ago. Back then, people were like, I don't know if I want to log into PayPal on your computer. We had a lot of sales on PayPal, but you could just see a little apprehension. So we did that one show, and we've never gone back to using PayPal. Now we have said, oh, I don't have a card, and I don't have enough. I don't know where a time machine is now. Now there's time machines all over the place, but an ATM
time machines.
Right now, it's right next to Blockbuster. So we do offer, if you want, just PayPal us. Just show us, the PayPal after you're done, after it's gone through, and then I'll check my email. Yep, PayPal's gone through. So we'll accept PayPal occasionally like that too.
That's a good. I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think that was an option. And it's right there, and it happens in seconds. So I'm going to take Victor's question right here. So, cash, Victor, it's cash. Cash is king.
Would say cash is so much easier because there's always that chance that the internet is not functioning at the location that you're at, and you're trying to use your Square. We had that happen with the last the show in Fond du Lac.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did, and it wasn't their fault. It was everybody was on at the same time.
Yeah,
they were having trouble at the front desk for a while trying to get it to operate.
Well, at that Janesville show, their ATM wasn't working. The scanner thing at the front desk wasn't working. I didn't have cash, so I had to go. I was doing a trade or something there, and it was I can't think of the name right now. Oh my God, it was Chris Thousands. So I basically got money from him to get into the show because they had no other option. Because I was like, well, what do we do now? Do you just let me in? Like, what's the story? Do I just get to go in? Because this is ridiculous. This is your fault, not mine.
That's right.
They weren't having that. But cash is king. So
cash is king.
And then trades. Do you do trades at the shows as a vendor?
No. Okay. Never, ever. So the next question is, why don't you do trades? And the easy answer to that is, I just don't have time. I don't have time to look at other animals. To be honest, and it's no offense to anybody whatsoever, but I don't want to bring home an animal and have to do the quarantine. And actually, I'm bringing it in. I'm putting it in the box with my animals. I just don't know. It's like Rick says from Pawn Stars. It's not that I don't trust you. I don't trust anyone. So I have to take that stance. And I did this with fish. I occasionally I would bring in wild fish, and one time it caught me and took down a number of tanks next to it. So it just makes me leery of taking in additional animals unless I really, really, really know somebody. And I really don't want to do trades. I don't want to sit there and go, okay, my Periodora Picto, which is priced at, I have it priced at $200, and you're offering 7 leopard geckos. It's hard. It's really hard. Good question, though. It's really good.
We might not have the space for the animal either, and then we're taking home animals that we have to set up. And
I think it was more like say you and I had something you might want, like the red pandas I've grown out. Let's say I have those.
Yeah.
And let's say we work it out ahead of time. Like you know me, I know you.
Yeah.
We work out a trade ahead of time, but that's where we meet instead of doing shipping and all that nightmare.
Different thing, totally.
Rachel will tell you I'm a horrible shipper. So will a couple other people. I'm not very good at it. So I would much prefer to do a trade in person. But is that a possibility if it's all set up ahead of time?
In my mind, that's apples and oranges because we have time to go back and forth. The very last thing I want to be doing at a show is trying to do math and stuff like that to my benefit. If I have to spend time helping somebody, and they don't buy an animal, that's fine. But if I have to do something where it's kind of a little bit my benefit too, it's not what I'm supposed to be doing at a show,
Right.
What I'm supposed to be doing at a show is educating, sharing my passion, and eventually maybe selling some animals. So if we talk beforehand and go, yes, game on, let's do this trade, and you come to the show, even in the middle of everything, I'm probably going to ignore you while I'm working with somebody else, and then eventually I'm going to go, hey, Josh, I've got the animals right here. Let's go ahead and do the trade. If, however, you come up, hey, Wally, I mentioned briefly that I had the red pandas. Would you want to trade the red pandas for these animals? I would say, let's work that out offline. Let's talk after the show and work something out.
It's got to be pre-done.
I'd probably be kind of not rude to you, but I'd just not want to do that.
Did he freeze?
I think,
or did he fall asleep?
Yeah.
You froze with your eyes closed. So
you look like you just fell
napping.
asleep in your nice, comfy chair.
I want to know who Hard Pill to Swallow is. It shows I have an interconnection. There we go. Now I need to know who Hard Pill to Swallow is. I wonder if that's Dave Koosman, because I think that's the only other person I've shipped to. See, I never ship, so that's why I'm awful at it.
Well, why is that? What's the issue with shipping?
I don't know. I think I don't plan ahead enough, so I just, it's not good. It's not good. I need to take more notes. I do it like very last second, and I need to plan ahead and have it sorted out before I'm running out the door, basically. So I literally, the last time I shipped something was like adjusting things in the car at the post office. So, or at UPS, whatever. So not good. It should be there before I left. Or I'm looking at a box.
They're getting a pick and save plastic bag tied off at the top.
It was bad.
Is still in there.
It was bad. Okay, so it was David. This was definitely David. So I may or may not owe David some. He won our first giveaway. He won a giveaway, so it was free. To be fair, it was free.
There you go.
So, but it was the only thing that died was the pandas that I sent him. So I may owe David some pandas. We'll work that out. So that was the only thing. They froze. The pandas froze. Everybody else lived, but the pandas didn't make it. Yeah, it was like, and I always overship, so it was probably like 20 or 30.
I like to give more than people are looking for, but I learned really early on in shipping that I was doing too much of that. And I think we had a shipment where somebody ordered like 20 dairy cows, and I put probably about 50 in there, and they got them. They all died. We got another shipment out that same day, but it was like, you can't put too many. That's like putting too many fish in a small bag to ship. You can't do stuff like that.
Well, now, speaking of fish, this is something I wanted to get to a little later. Now, you were doing fish at the last show I was at, so is that a staple now?
It is. It's kind of swimming right into the whole stream of selling. Like that pun?
Swimming into the stream. I see what you did there.
I'm hot. So some shows allow it, some don't. I literally posted on the Sewerfest show saying, I'm going to bring this, and it buried in there somewhere was I'm going to bring some Pelvichromis ovacellatus and some albino guppies. And Shane contacted me like within the hour and said, I'd rather you not. And Shane is an unbelievable great guy and a great show promoter and organizer. I said, no worries at all. I'm thankful that you contacted me. I'll leave them at home. Thanks, Wally. I appreciate that. So he wants to keep, the chickens and, things like that out of the show. And I can 100% appreciate that.
The random BS. Yeah. I mean, fish are kind of adjacent, being cold-blooded or whatever, but I get that. You get enough fish tanks with like the axolotl people and some of the frog people. That's a rough setup, I feel like, for carting all that water around and everything. So, I don't know that Wally sells scuds. That's not Wally, right?
I don't.
That's Russ.
I don't know.
Somebody
Russ
else.
does. Maybe
somebody
Russ
else.
does. Okay.
Victor did ask if we bought other things at the show ourselves, like supplies and things.
Ooh.
And it depends on what it is. We don't buy tanks at a show normally, because Wally has way too many measuring fiascos and spreadsheets to go with the stands that he's doing. So no, that can't happen. Can't buy a random tank anywhere.
I literally
might not fit.
So I don't know if you can see because of my big head, but we just put in this rack today.
Oh, wow.
So we did a major feed. We did the video. We did this rack. What else? We did some shipping out. So we put in this rack, moved some tanks up, but this is all. The dimensions are all in a spreadsheet per inch and all planned out. Everything's in spreadsheets. Yeah, I know, I'm nuts.
So no, that's handy because I'll just go buy something and then I get it home and it doesn't quite fit.
No.
So then I don't return anything. So now I have a shelf unit or something that is for a totally different purpose.
Sorry, the hairs on the back of my neck are standing up. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. That probably makes you like skeeved out. Like, what? Impulse? Yeah.
No, he can't do that.
I can't.
Yeah. No.
But we will buy some of this stuff if we need other supplies. We've bought
cork bark, fruit flies.
Yeah, and we've bought like at the bigger shows, we've bought the heat tape and stuff that when we know we needed it at the time.
Oh yeah.
You know, we bought those kinds of things, Victor, but tanks are never purchased there.
Yeah, right. So everybody's getting comments on that rack. What's going on there? Micro geckos or
the big tank right here, that's the Hawaiian blue day geckos.
Okay.
And all four of these other tanks right now are empty. They were sitting. Here's my problem. I did a bioactive stand, and we're just way off the show stuff. Sorry about this, but I did a bioactive stand with 15 exoteros, 12 by 12 by 18s, and it's working out great. Except the lower tanks, I can't get down to anymore. I've got a little stool and a little rolling, like a garage mechanic stool. And I roll around the floor on that, but it's just so hard to get into. So I decided, I need them up. I need them higher. So I built this rack because I had this big tank sitting on a credenza that went out, and I just had enough space for a 36-inch.
Oh, really? Just enough space.
Just enough space. For my Excel spreadsheet, I had 1.378 inches available.
I just see there's a room, maybe just off camera, where there's just this wall like a beautiful mind with Post-it notes and spreadsheets and strings attached to it. Like this rack, it's over there. Okay, thanks, Nanette.
All the way down the wall. There's Post-it notes always.
It's not like that at all. It's more like Minority Report, where I can just, with my computer, I can just bring up another rack system and another rack.
Nope, throw that out. Bring this in. Zoop, zoop. I want that. I want that real bad. That would be so cool.
Wouldn't it?
So, Cassandra's saying hi to Widget. Don't encourage him, Cassandra. I appreciate it, but I have so much stuff in my lap tonight. He's really upset. He keeps looking up here like you can't see his head popping up over this. He's looking like, where am I supposed to go? You have a book now? What is this situation? So cash or card? Oh, this is a very important question that I wrote down. This is my stream of thought. And you guys can answer too. What do you think Batman smells like? And that just tuned out. And that's
I have 20 answers and none of them are appropriate.
Probably.
I don't like Old Spice. I don't know. I just pictured him Doritos.
I don't know why.
That says Batman smells like Doritos.
Like original Doritos?
Yeah, original or extra crispy.
Original. Okay. What do you mean extra crispy?
I don't know.
There's like
Dorito was that.
They do have the 3D ones that are all crisp. So those are all crisp. It's like a Muncho with Doritos. Those are super crispy. We've broken the net. Yeah, Vic. That's what I do. I knew Nanette was going to be here. Wally asked right before the show, but this question has been here for over a week. He smells like the Night and Justice. Vic says old cheese and vodka. That's probably true.
Sandalwood.
Sandalwood?
Yeah, somebody said.
Heather's daughter said sandalwood. Okay.
Night and Justice. That deserves a snap up.
The Night and Justice. Now Angie is a forager, so I'm guessing she's right. He smells like bad poop.
Yeah, we'll take her as the authority.
Yeah, she's out there in the world with bats, so probably around on a regular basis. I think the sandalwood is pretty funny. I think that would be most of Alfred's job is to defumigate that suit because it probably smells like old balls.
Gosh.
And it's not good.
Yeah,
like a jockstrap.
What does Batman do? So he gets home from fighting crime. And he goes, Alfred.
In the comics, he's always just there. Like Batman pulls in and Alfred's like, "Here's your tea. What do I have to stitch up on you?" And yeah, I just imagine he smells like a jockstrap out of that suit. Like it's got to be not good. It's got to be not good. Not good. I'm glad Biggs isn't here to ask me what a jockstrap smells like. I did it for him. What is this? I wrote down ID cards, but I don't know what that means.
ID what?
ID cards? I don't know why this is on here.
It's the Nets' turn now. I'm going to kind of take a snooze break like you did earlier. I'm just going to kind of doze.
I did.
This part of my screen is frozen.
Okay, good. Nanette, I don't know why I wrote down ID cards. Do you guys get?
Are you thinking of the cups with the labeling that I put on? Where's the camera?
Oh, no. You're close. That wasn't it.
Okay.
That wasn't it. So
was it the ID cards that I had down? Here, hang on to this. This is my spreadsheet.
Oh, is that a spreadsheet? Is that a sample spreadsheet?
That's one of my
There's no prices on yours, is there?
Yes, there is.
God, I can't see this thing.
Yeah, it's
is that focusing?
It's basically white.
Focus.
Oh, there we go. There's some focus. Okay. Do they need ID cards?
So that's kind of our list of isopods that we bring
to some of the shows.
Yeah, that's Wally.
About these that I had. Where's the camera on this here?
Yeah, it's always hard to find.
Were you talking about the isopod ID things that I had laying in front of isopods?
That I saw. No, I did figure it out in my head. So you cued it. You cued off my brain. So thank you, Nanette.
All right.
So you can tell who's been a wife for 30 some years because my wife does the same thing. She's only been like 15, but she'll say one word and my brain goes, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." So your wife instincts are strong, Nanette. Okay, so I had an idea. This is take it or leave it. This came from your fish. It came from your fish and the pink and blue gecko. So when I was thinking of ID cards, I've been seeing on the isopod tables that people have those colored pictures on the top of the like their stack or whatever. You don't get to keep that, but it shows you like what that is and what it looks like. So the fish is what cued it the most because when they're stressed and in the bags, they don't have their colors. They dull down too much. So like the fish all look like gray fish, and except for the albinos, obviously. But I know that's not what they look like. Like I know that the little cichlids that you had are just gorgeous, but they did not show that. So I was wondering if maybe I was going to propose that you either get ID cards made or make them yourself for the fish to show people like, hey, this is what they look like for real. Once they get in your planted tank, this is what they'll look like, or whatever tank.
That's a great idea. We talked about that after that show because on the way home, always after a show, Wally will look over and he'll go, what do we have to do different at the next show? Or what could we have done better today? And that was one of them with the fish that day. I remembered that we could not see them. Mm-hmm. The other thing that we did do that kind of worked, we tried a couple different things where we had a big poster board with the isopods and we numbered every cup. Like 1 was the clowns and 2 was the giant canyons. And we had pictures on the board. That worked a little bit, but it got too bulky on the table for me. And then if he changed out an isopod, we didn't maybe have that picture that show or whatever. But he has changed, and we are doing this QR code.
Okay.
Going up. Yeah. And people can scan that. And if they scan it, it takes them right to our store page.
Okay.
Right into Facebook, Instagram, and different things. But they can actually scan right on there, and they can see what the isopod looks like.
That's cool because
that helps.
My problem with the isopods is like, they're like, pick it up and look in there, and they're juveniles. You can't really see them because they're burrowed into whatever substrate or whatever you have there for them. And then you get some dummy next to me. I'm trying to look like, turn it over and look gently, and then you got a guy looking and. Where are they? And it's like, dude, what are you doing? So that was just a thought for the fish. Because I remember looking at that bag of fish like, this is a weird looking convict. Because it was the same colors as like a convict cichlid. And I was like, wait a minute. My brain had to cycle through photos that you've put up on Facebook or whatever. Like, okay, that's this fish.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
It is. It's hard because I don't think there is one good. I don't think there's one perfect idea, unfortunately. But that's probably the best. The page is click, and you're there seeing isopods, and you have to scroll a little bit to find the one that you're looking for. That's okay. It gets people over to our page, and that's what's really important, or our YouTube channel. The little signs above each isopod, that was really tricky because it just took up too much room and it changed so much. Isopods in, isopods out. The best one that I've ever seen is kind of what you're saying. I went to a Tinley show, and a guy that worked with tarantulas had a sign. It was probably 8.5 by 20. And
Okay.
row had maybe 4 or 5 tarantulas with their names, and you could see the animals, and it was all organized. So if you looked on the table and saw ABC tarantula, you could go to the chart and see ABC and see what it looked like. And great pictures. I've also tried the computer, pulling up a slideshow and just letting that roll through too to show off some of our animals. And I think that would work well with the fish if we had videos of, especially those little cichlids showing and them swimming in the female, in breeding color. I think that would work out a lot better too.
They're so pretty. Or have like a tablet or whatever there, like a MacBook or something where you're just kind of, you go, oh, you want to see this? Here's what you're looking at. Or you could just even do it. Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. I wrote it down.
Awesome. There.
I did see a quick question up here too, way back one from Victor, and he wanted to know how often we change our tablecloths and our sign. Our tablecloths used to be plastic way back, which was horrible because every time you move something on it, you would rip it. And they were never long enough to cover the front of the table. And I like the front of the table totally covered because I like everything tucked under once we've unpacked. I do not like it when I've got a bunch of our boxes sitting behind us because I feel like it's unorganized looking. So I like to tuck it under. So I like the front to be all the way down. Then we went to bed sheets because they were cloth and I could wash them every show. But then we started to find that they weren't always long enough for some of the tables, or they didn't fit the way I wanted them to. So we were at a show a year ago or so in Janesville, and there was a guy that had a tablecloth. He popped it out. He dropped it down over the table. The corners met the corners. It fits all the way. I mean, it fits perfectly around the table.
It costs a lot of money. Each one was like $200, right?
No,
Oh, wow.
Amazon, $20 a piece.
Oh.
$20 a piece, done deal.
Easily.
And they're thick. They're going to last.
Yeah. I haven't even had
to
wash them yet because they don't get dirty like that. I can shake them out or brush them off. I think I used a damp cloth on one spot one time, but nothing. So we don't change tablecloths that often anymore. I mean, we were using the sheets for probably 10 years before we changed over to this. And I just happened to see this guy put them on. And I'm like, wait. So I went and talked to him. Our show sign, which I did bring one of them up here somewhere.
She's crazy organized.
This is one of our signs, and this one goes across the banner.
Is that the one that hangs on the rack that you have overhead?
On the back. We do have a vertical one, but I don't like the vertical because you don't see the whole sign then.
Okay.
But this sign was made by a company that my sister worked at, and this one had to be 15 years ago.
Yeah,
maybe. And we have not. We had one sign way back one that was a heavy duty plastic that you had to roll.
Oh,
and that thing was horrible because if it didn't roll perfect, then it creased and it looked bad. And it was heavy and awkward. This one goes up on one of those. I don't even know what those things are called.
Just tripod poles. You pull the legs out and you pull the poles up. Yeah, green screen
which
poles.
We got on Amazon for like $30 for the pack, and it's just a done deal.
Amazon's
so we haven't had to change those. We won't change them unless we change something drastic in our stock, I guess. And you did have an isopod one made. We don't use that often because it's just not convenient.
It's bulky. Yeah.
It's just hard to get it on with two signs in there.
You go through a lot of these shows and you learn a lot by doing things wrong sometimes. So this isopod one looks okay. It just doesn't, there's no good place to put it. So we just don't use it anymore.
And one thing with our sign too is that is one of the things that we try, and we don't always do it. This last show we didn't, but we try to get that up first as soon as we can.
Smart.
Because it's up. People know right where we're at. And if it's VIP, we might not be totally set up, but at least when people come through, they know who we are right away. And the vendor also, the location that we're at, they can look across the room and go, okay, Spring Gecko showed up, they're set up, they're ready to go or whatever. Front of the table signs I don't like because people stand in front of them.
Yeah, no one sees them. No, everyone's looking at the table.
Yep, we've never done that one. Yep.
Yeah, just keep the front clean.
Yep. And cover the front, cover your tables. Don't ever not cover a table. I don't know. It doesn't look professional. It looks sloppy.
One of my pet peeves is to go to a reptile show and see somebody's table and there's geckos and lizards and the tablecloth is green and yellow and pink and blue and it just takes away from the animals.
Solid
personally. Color. Yeah, go with the solid color. Yeah.
Keep it clean.
Yep.
You want that pink and blue cresty to pop. You don't want it to have to fight with the rainbow tablecloth.
The gray fish shows up great on black too.
I should have got a picture of that gecko. I'll never forget it.
I remember having that conversation, looking at it going, I think it's in shed, right, Wally?
And I kept looking at Wally like, what is he talking about? Like, why is he freaking out?
I felt like, come on.
Yeah. Call the wife. Call the wife for $200.
Come on.
And I'm sitting there. There we go. It's shedding.
You're Johannes. I'll give you 5% off. Just call the wife. And then in 5 days, when it looks totally different, call me angry.
What gecko?
Pretend that you're not angry. Pretend. Around 25. Oh, they're talking about how many species they have. Frank's getting the audience all riled up. You can tell. I can always tell when I have one of your mods in the show because they handle the audience.
Frank does well.
Instinctively. They just do it. So thanks for letting me borrow your mod.
Frank's one of our mods.
Victor wants to know what our favorite part of the show is.
So
to drive home.
So the drive home.
We succeeded.
$10, $20.
The food.
The
food at the end.
We're always hangry after a show. We are always so Nanette goes and we do the show. We have an hour drive. We stopped at A&W, not my favorite place, but Crystal wanted some A&W. We get home and I was just like, oh my God, I'm so tired and stuffed with A&W. And it's like, and Nanette has to get out Facebook pictures and share with everybody. So
that's what we need down here. You guys are spoiled with A&W franchises. We don't have them. Well, so, yeah.
$38 for 3 people to eat. Forget it. Why are you going there again? Frank, I don't think you're annoying. I think you're funny.
I appreciate Frank a whole lot. Victor, going back to Victor, I want to cover his, though. My favorite part of a show, there's no question what it's talking. Then it goes, it's talking. My favorite part of a show is to have a family walk up to the table. We got Crust the Geckos, picked us, and they're looking at a gecko. And the kids are like, oh my gosh, what is this? Is this a gecko? I've read it. And to see mom and dad slowly inch back, like, I don't want anything at all to do with that gecko. So then it's my job. It's now my job to introduce those kids to a gecko and have them hold, because they don't care. They don't care. They're not afraid. And they're holding and it's jumping and the parents are still 2 feet back. And then it becomes, Mom, Dad, do you want to I'm going to hold it right here. I'm just going to hold it right here. Do you want to just touch the tail? And if they go, if I can see it in their eyes, there's no way I'm touching that animal. Then I bail and I go back to the kids and I talk to the kids. But if I can see that, I don't, it's like, oh, game on, here we go. And to have a parent hold a gecko for the first time at a show like this, from our table, that it's a win, 100% of the time.
503 Menagerie just said, I love the pictures Wally posts. If I catch, because normally Wally's dealing with the animals at the shows. And I'm doing the isopods and the food sales and whatever else. Yeah, you're the chatter. But he's working at that point. But But when he's working with a family, if I catch it out of the corner of my eye, I'll grab his phone really quick and try to take a picture of the kids holding them and that, because this last time, that little girl holding that isopod, the picture you put out there, that was just precious.
And
she was so excited.
And the mom was, no, don't take that isopod out of the cup. No, she's going to scream. She's going to
cry. She's going to
kill it. And for me, it was like, worst case scenario, we have one less giant canyon.
Yeah, she was
and her hands, and she was so gentle, and it crawled off her hand onto the table, and she just kind of scooped at it a little bit and picked it up so nice. It was so cool.
Those are good moments.
That is the fun time. That is the fun time.
I was going to encourage people, if you meet Wally at a show, like go up, greet him, introduce yourself, and then take the time to just sit back and watch the show. Like leave and then just watch. Because watching Wally engage the customers, or the not even the customers, just the people that show up, is a treat. Just to see that, like, his eyes spark as much as the person he's engaging with. Like, that's how into it Wally is. To introduce people to these new species that they've kind of seen online or in a book or whatever, and now they're getting to see it in person for the first time.
And it's never a push.
Thank you.
I mean, he never ever pushes to get a sale when he's doing it. It's educating and it's letting them have fun and seeing what's out there first.
It's so genuine.
They buy it from somebody else, we don't care. They got to hold a gecko at our table and they now know what it is and they're not afraid of it. We're extremely happy at that point.
Well, and they're not going to forget Supreme Gecko. They're not going to forget that, especially the kids. That's a big moment. Like, I didn't get to go to an expo till I was an adult because my parents were smart. They knew I'd be like, Mom! My eyes would be like this big, and the baby begging eyes, like, oh, come on, can I please just have an alligator?
And we went through that this weekend with Crystal. She worked her first show with us on Sunday, which was awesome. And all she wanted was oh my gosh, now I forget what the thing's called. What was that?
An axolotl.
Oh, an axolotl.
Yeah.
An axolotl. What is it?
Axolotl?
Yeah, axolotl.
Okay.
Yeah, what's an axolotl?
That's a fish.
An axolotl. That's all she wanted. She saw it and thought it was so cool.
I mean, they're adorable, and they're super easy to keep. So if she goes again and you want to get one, get her one. Because
she was told she has to do some research, and she was online today looking them up and watching videos on them. So
excellent. They are so easy to keep. It's crazy. So I was thinking about getting one at the last show I was at. The guy who sold me my Cresties was there, and my mail, I think some of us know it died. So
I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's my fault. I left the top as a sliding screen lid, and I left it open a little too much during feeding. I don't know if I just got sidetracked or what, and he got out. I found him on the floor all dried out. So,
sorry.
Yeah, that was Desi. Oh, so I was going to see if I could get a replacement. I have 8 babies still growing out in different stages, so I don't recommend breeding newts right now. I don't recommend it. So I've lost more than I've raised. It is my first year, my first attempt, but they're very cannibalistic. So in my experience, so I don't recommend it. It's a little heartbreaking. So, but anyway, so speaking of Crystal being there, like, how awesome was that to have her there? Because I know she knows more than probably I do about crested geckos.
She was all over it. We got there and she helped us at home. She got up right away in the morning, helped us get stuff ready. We got in the car, we got there. She helped me unload stuff. We were setting up and she was involved in that, which I have a bunch of pictures on my phone, by the way, I have to give you for the setup. I forgot. She was doing that with us. People came up to the table and she was like, well, that pictus is only 2 months and 1 day old. And it's going to grow to be about this big, and they're really friendly. And my grandpa has them at home. And she engaged so many people, and people listened to her and just like followed her along our table all the way through the show as she pointed out certain animals, and she was all over it. She just did such an awesome job.
I remember the one show. I think it was just when you guys were coming to NARBC and we were going to meet up there. And you had said you were bringing Crystal, and then Wally messaged me like before I met you guys. Oh, Crystal couldn't make it, and I was like, oh, she's got such good energy, and is so into it. Like it's It's so great to see. So what is she, like 12 now?
10.
10. Okay, so only 10. So that's
She's
only going to
23.
increase.
10.
She's 23?
She's 23.
She's rocking it, though. I mean, today she helped me with shipping, and she told me she was going to be the shipper now. So I said to Wally, well, I just got fired.
I mean, you retired is all. Like, enjoy your retirement now.
She's taken over the business.
We have been repurposed.
She's going to be the Supreme Gecko, the inheritor.
No, it's not going to be Supreme Gecko. It's going to be
Supreme
Crystal's Gecko, because she's just not feeling the Supreme Gecko name.
I like that. She wants to stand on her own too and not be a legacy.
I don't feel that. I just don't feel that, Grandma. And I'm like, okay.
I don't feel it. These kids.
Just not feeling that.
These kids, I tell you.
23.
23.
Yeah, it was
Sorry.
fun having her, and she did a great job. She stuck with us. She was in and out. She met a little friend at the table next to ours and went around her and bought like thousands of stickers, and they had a ball. And then on the way home, she did say, I'm getting really hungry. And I had brought food for her, so she had stuff to eat. She also ate there, which we never do. We don't eat at our table at all. And it might be the candy out of our bowl, but we do not sit down. We do not eat lunch. We focus on the day with our customers. And that's why we're hangry by the time we walk out of there.
I was going to ask you about food. That was the last question I had on the list, was what do you do for food? Because we don't see you guys eat, and I didn't see any food available. Like, you guys have, it looks like just crates that you brought geckos in and ice pods in, and that's it. There was nothing personal there.
Yeah, I'm pretty picky. I'll be very honest. I'm very, very anal about that. When we're there at a show, and I think I went to a bunch of shows before I started doing shows myself, and it was, for the purpose of, I think the first show I went to, I wanted more geckos. And after that, every show, probably 5 or 6 shows that I went to, was all about studying and understanding and learning. And we just lost one of our lights, but it was all about learning and trying to pick the pieces of other vendors that were successful and trying to mimic and copy what they were doing and making it my own. One of the biggest things that I saw was probably Jim Selfood. Great guy, stood and he addressed every single person. And I you walk around, and every single time he's talking to somebody, he's looking. Never, ever did I see Jim looking at a phone or talking to somebody at his table or not standing there waiting to help the next customer. So the very first show that we did, my middle son, Jordan, helped me. And middle of the show, Jordan's gone. So about 5 minutes later, Jordan shows up, pulls up a chair just off of the table, just a little bit behind the table, but still kind of like he was there to help people if somebody had a question. Sits down with his hot dog and chips and a soda, and he just eats away. I looked over and kept helping people. And at the end of the show, I said, Jordan, that's something we will never, ever, ever do again. What that says to people is that me sitting here eating a hot dog is far more important than me helping you. So it's just something in my mind that has stuck with me, that, when we're at the show, we're there to help people and to talk to people, because we only have that amount of time and then it's gone. So,
yeah. I mean, that's I don't know that I could adhere to that, but I like that mentality. I like that discipline. Yeah, I would be, because I remember that guy at the show next to you at the last show at Janesville was ready to punch me out because I was in his way while he was trying to get those burgers through. And so I was like, okay, man. And he kept coming through. Like, it must have been like 5 times. And I just was thinking, would you sit down and eat already? What are you doing? How many burgers are you going to bring?
Oh, that was the snake guys. That one guy.
The snake guys? Yeah. And it's not for everybody. I know. I realize this, and some people can't stand up, for physical, reasons or whatever. It's not for everybody. It's us. This is what we do.
Yeah, and I like that. I think that dedication to the customers, or the I hate to even call them customers, because they're just I don't know. I can't think of a word to call them right now, but it's not. The customer doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the moms and dads that are coming through. The
Yep. Attendees.
Yeah, I can't think of it. Attendees, spectators. Yeah. I'm thinking of the students, the new students. the admirers. Let's call them the admirers.
There you go.
Those folks coming through. So that dedication to them is amazing, and that added on level of that. And I think it's cool to pass that on to Crystal too. And
she gets it.
Yeah,
she gets it. She was pretty good with it. I mean, she did eat her hot dog behind us, and we talked about it later. That if there's tables where you get your hot dog, let's eat it over there instead, just because. And she was like, "Oh, okay, I got that." You know, it was no big deal. You know, she could have cared less. And she only ate a hot dog because the kid next to us was eating. So she was like, "Can I get a hot dog too?" Victor asked something about Crystal living with us. Crystal lived with us until about 3 years ago with her daddy. And then they moved out on their own. But Crystal goes to school here. And since Grandpa's home in the morning and Dad goes to work at 7, she gets dropped off here in the morning and leaves for school because they're in our district. And then he picks her up after school. She comes back here. So we see Crystal daily, pretty much during the week. And they are temporarily with us with their dog. They're in between apartments right now. And so, yeah, she's here quite a bit.
That's the puppy. Okay.
Yeah, the puppy, the horse.
Yeah, she lives there.
Yeah.
She does.
It works out. It works out. Jordan,
awesome.
again, Jordan helped with the stand today a lot, so it works out. Cassandra mentioned I have to bring food and drink because of medical reasons. Absolutely.
And that's fine.
Absolutely. Everybody's different and everybody has to do what they and that doesn't mean that, I won't sneak a Jolly Roger or Jolly Roger Rancher out of the candy dish or
out of the time machine
once in a while, or a Tootsie Roll Rancher thing.
Now that we can put candy on the table again.
Yeah.
But
don't get me wrong, Cassandra. I don't think it's unprofessional for people to eat at the show because, again, I would absolutely be eating. But I think I like the mentality of stepping aside. But if you need a quick thing, and I think people understand. I don't think anyone walked to a table and is like mentally on their top of their mind, like it's just a piece of crap eating a burger. Like what the heck?
Well,
I think everyone understands you're there all day.
Acknowledged. And that's the thing. You just have to remember, even if you are eating, they acknowledge who's coming up. Just give me a second or whatever.
Frank's calling me out. Yep.
Yeah.
Frank's calling me out.
Good. He asked if Crystal was going to get the waffle recipe as well.
She has the waffle.
She already has it. She probably gave it to us.
Yeah.
Jolly Ranchers are a treasure. I think I would be eating a lot of cold food because I would be taking a bite and setting it down to talk to someone, and then trying to sneak another bite. And they're like, "Whoa, how can I help you?"
I think at Tinley, the one year that I went down with you, I brought small bags of almonds, and I would, eat a couple almonds here or there. It wasn't like I ate a sandwich, but I ate something in between.
Bite-sized granola
bar once. We'll have those things with us.
Yeah, it's not a hard and fast rule by any means. But I tell you what, though, that's kind of up there. But what we will never do is sit down in front of our table or behind our table with a phone and be on the phone the whole time. That's never going to happen. So
I've seen that.
Yeah, I know, and that's hard on me to see something like that.
I did see the least professional thing I've ever seen at a show at the last Janesville show, and I don't even know if it was supposed to be there. But there was one lady, her husband and kid, I'm assuming, were standing on the other side talking to her very personally. So she's in a chair at a table, at a just blank table, with a dubia colony in a cup, right, in the big deli. And it had like exotic roaches on a Post-it note, $40. And she's talking to her husband, or the guy, and on the phone, and this table with one cup on it.
I
was like, and I wasn't there late. It was like 10:30 or something, and it hadn't even been open an hour.
It wasn't even open.
And I was like, this is the most amazing thing. And I tried to get far enough away to take a picture of the table, but the guy kept looking over, and I was like, I want to post this picture so bad. No sign, no nothing, no, this is my business, nothing. Just, I don't even know if she had the table or just sat there because there were so many empty tables that day. But it was hilarious. I wanted to ask.
They were ready to sell that one cup of dubia
for $40.
I feel like $40 even for a breeder colony is like up there.
Yeah.
But it was like exotic roaches was on this Post-it notes. I was like, oh my god. Yeah, they're so exotic. You can't get those everywhere. For dirt cheap. Mr. Krabs is a robot. He was a robot. Ravioli. What are we talking about here? Protein shakes? They're off the rails right now. Okay. We're off the rails. Thanks, Frank. Back into that. So we know that education is your favorite. Nanette, what's your favorite part of the show?
I think watching him with the customers and just observing what's the interaction. And when the kids come up, I just love it. When he gets the kids up there, it's just so fun just to observe that whole process because it's all educational.
You should have stopped with that very first part, just being with me.
I'm sorry.
Being with
just
Wally
being with you all day long at the show is my favorite part.
Love is. I'm gonna put that underneath. Oh wait. Here, we found out we can do this now. So.
And that's right. I agree, Josh. As long as they're acknowledging you and they're willing to talk to you, that's different.
See how long it takes you to notice. So,
what did he do? I don't know.
StreamYard is amazing for the people that are doing the StreamYard. It's so fun. Josh Suds. I don't know who that is.
But I agree with that.
Okay. I've seen a lot of new names. These must be people you brought.
It's my honesty.
Look at your nameplate is what that's I can change the nameplates.
Well, there's Wally in that.
I love it.
You changed our name.
I found out.
I was looking at yours. I was like,
yes.
Did that change? Did he add RIP in there? What's going on?
The Choco Taco has been discontinued. Like they stopped. The company either went out of business or just stopped making it. And now 5 other companies are starting to make their own version. And I don't know if you've had a Choco Taco before, but they're amazing.
They're like,
so good.
Is that the ice cream, the chocolate?
Yeah. So it's like the waffle cone taco shell, and then it's ice cream.
Out of business?
They're out of business.
The ice cream truck used to sell those. I agree, Cassandra. Smiling, no matter how you're feeling or what's going on, is important.
Yeah, absolutely. Like keeping that, maintaining that. Yeah, because I will say Nanette has a different energy at the show. Like Nanette is, I don't know, it's just a different energy.
I'm more higher energy? No, I'm more subdued.
No, definitely not a higher energy.
Ooh,
like
I'm more subdued with the shows.
Yeah, it's more like a business mind, but still very personable. Like she'll approach everyone. Hey, how you doing? Do you need anything? Can I answer any questions? Can I direct you to Wally?
Exactly.
I will say I saw the neatest magic trick ever. So someone, like I said, stand back and watch Wally and Nanette. So someone handed Wally money for a gecko, and Wally did this. Well, not really, but this is a dramatization. Wally did this, and then his hands were empty. The money was gone, and then Nanette had this folded money she's put in her pocket. Like, whoop. And I was like, there was an amazing cash pass that they did. That was like, they didn't even look at each other. There was no communication that I saw, but they each Nanette passed this wad of cash to Wally, and then she stepped out for something.
It's like remember the old show Love and Marriage, where Al is handing out and Peggy just grabs Love and Marriage. Yeah, it's Married with Children.
Wally's off the.
The mind is a terrible thing to waste. Where Al hands the wallet, the money, and Peg just grabs the wallet. That's pretty much it with us.
Yeah, exactly. Should provide care guides with the inverts you sell at a show. I'll be giving some inverts to a friend of mine working at a table.
We don't like to. It's just our preference not to hand out a lot of paper at shows. I'd rather everything. It'd be cool if people would do the QR code. Scan it in, go to our website because we have care information on our website. That would be really super cool.
It's hard to have enough of everything for enough for every one of the inverts and everything at the tables.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think my advice for Josh as a customer would be if they're not your friends' inverts, if they don't know about them and you're not positive that they know about them, I would send them with a care sheet. If you're not confident that they can tell the people how to, but every sale, like Wally's saying, and that's saying, every sale is an education opportunity. So and you'll feel out whether your customer knows what they're talking about or knows that they're prepared to deal with these animals or not. So yeah, I agree with Heather that it's definitely a bonus, but on like a table like Wally's, like if it's not his if I was to be like, hey, Wally, can you sell these dwarf caimans for me at your show? And somehow Wally agreed, I would give a care sheet. Even though I'm pretty sure Wally could like pull it out of his backside, but I would definitely have a care sheet, and I can't imagine ever handing you an animal like, Wally, can you sell this for me at your show? Can we sublet your time?
I don't know how many shows we do a year, and I'm trying to count.
How many have we done so far?
I'm just trying to think. We've done
5-ish.
We've done 6, I think, this year already, and we're signed up for another 4. I would say
about 10
to 12 a year,
10
Angie.
to 12 a year, yeah.
Way back when, though, it used to be when we went to Illinois, it was every other weekend. He was driving down to Wheaton.
I think
15 years ago.
I think our top number of shows that we did one year was like 34.
Insane.
Well, we were doing the Wisconsin show that was monthly. We were doing the Show Me Show. Gosh darn it. The Scott Smith All Animals show 2 times a month, down an hour and 50 minutes.
Yeah, that's down in like
it's Wheaton.
Geneva almost.
It was in Wheaton, so it was a long time.
And
you should have been around back in the day. You should have been doing Scott Smith back in the day. That was a show. You could buy pit bulls.
We did.
Baby raccoons. Yeah. Like
that's where the chickens were.
That's chickens.
18
with the snakes
years ago.
And then there were snakes on leashes and booths behind us. And yeah.
So my very first show at the Scott Smith, or it used to be Watson, Lee Watson show, came to the got all signed up and everything. What do I need? And conversation. And then I'm setting up my show. It's 15, 20 minutes before show starts. I've got a couple more things. This older gentleman walks by. How are you doing? Oh, good. And I'm thinking, he wants to buy something. It's another vendor. And we talked back and forth. And this is going to be fun. I'm really excited. I was very positive about it. And he walks away, and another vendor from another table real close by walked over and he goes, Lee Watson never talks to anybody. I said, oh, that was Lee Watson? Oh, I didn't know. And we were on great terms, throughout the years that I did the Lee Watson show, the Wheaton show.
That's pretty cool.
We do Wire too, Cassandra. We always did Wire.
I loved Wire show.
Wire was fun. We liked that one. There's a question. Do you have permits at the show or keep them at home? I have permits, and I have a laminated sheet with the permit numbers for the isopods at the show. And when I sell them, I ask where they live. And if they're out of the state, then I look up their state, which is always pretty much Illinois. And I write down on the permit, I have mini copies of it photocopied in my box. And I just fill out the number for them and then give them their permit for that. But that's the only thing that we have permits for in Wisconsin to have to sell. Outside of it is just isopods. Mm-hmm. And that's gotten harder to sell some isopod. We can't ship a lot anymore, certain ones.
Manta Scott, and I hate to jump in here, but Manta Scott is asking about QR codes on 4 care sheets would be great. And that's exactly what we have with this QR code. You can go right to our site, go right to the isopod that you're looking for, and look up the care information for that isopod.
Which I like that you have that entered in. I think I was talking a couple of weeks ago with somebody about websites that don't have enough information. They just have like the price and the name and the species listed there. And I think that's a huge detriment to that. Like, I'll skip right past that website, whoever that seller is. Like, if you don't have any information about them or whatever, I got to go. So yours is one of the best that I've seen. I haven't been on a lot of the websites in a while because I've been kind of out of the game, but yours helped me a lot. With a lot of my setups are based on the information on your page. So, and I've done well with them, except for the clowns. I had to figure out clowns on my own, but the rest, they were just, I don't know what, I had bad luck with them. So now I have that colony that everybody wants.
You're not the only one. A lot of people struggle. I struggled with clowns. I think I went through 2 batches and then it finally hit.
Yeah. And I don't know why. I think I just got enough that they couldn't help but breed. And because I tried them 3 times. So I got them from Pod Solo, then I got them from you, and then I got them from Dionysus Tegu from Nat. And all 3 times they just slowly died off. And then I got 50 from Josh Kane. He just sent me 50. And since then, it's been a booming colony. That's why I'm so against the 6 count.
Yeah, me too.
Victor has QR codes on his bins.
Who does?
Victor has QR codes on his bins and things. Wally just recently, in the last couple months, did QR codes for cleaning and QR codes for feeding, so we can just scan the code and go down the list and check off what we fed. And because sometimes I'll feed for him, or if I'm doing the bug room most of the time, and if I don't remember to tell him that it was fed, he's not sure what day they got fed on. So now we're using QR code. And I downloaded that reader onto my phone today. So
you scan it, it brings up a list of baby crusteds, adult crusteds, Leos, and bugs and isopods, and like 12 to 15 different areas where we feed. And then you can just click, and then it feeds into an Excel, a Google spreadsheet. Yeah, spreadsheet.
That's awesome. Do you try to rotate which geckos you bring? Like if you bring Gecko A to this show this weekend, will you let him sit out the next show? Or does that matter?
Usually not. A lot of it depends on age. So once they get to a certain age, then we're going to bring them. And we'll generally bring them, for 2 or 3 shows until they sell. We'll put them on the store. We'll kind of balance that show, website sales. And it usually takes about sometimes it usually takes 2 or 3 months, but eventually they'll sell. So we don't go through any kind of a rotation like that. Now, for Tinley, one of the things that we did for NARBC Tinley was we would bring boxes down of crested geckos, boxes of crested geckos, and we would put out like 1 box, fill up a table with 1 box. And unless somebody was real specific, Wally, I know I saw a red with Dalmatian. It was number XYZ. Did you bring that? Okay, I'll go into the 3 other boxes that I brought and I'll look for it. But usually it's sell, half the table, then bring out another 20 or 30 geckos. Sell out, and then bring out another 20 or 30 until the boxes we've gone through the boxes. But generally, what I bring to the show, what I have available generally goes to a show.
Wow.
Victor,
and I like that.
Yep. He's asking if we prefer a tablet or using the phone. I prefer my phone because a lot of times we all have our phones downstairs, and if we kept something really cool, we can take a video right away on our phone and then just transfer it. It's in my pocket all the time, so I just prefer to grab my phone.
Victor's getting ready to do his own show. He's doing the homework that he's coming at.
That's awesome. Great.
It's coming hard with the questions. No, it's good. It's good.
Can you put Frank in like a timeout or something?
I can. I think.
I'm kidding.
No. Oh, I can. I can put him in a timeout.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I wouldn't. I didn't know I could do that. Oh man, this could be great. My page has been getting hit with the foreign dirty website things now. Like I've been getting those a lot in my comments. No. That's like the comments that I get. You know how you get excited and you get a notification like, oh, you got a comment on your video. It's like, woohoo! And then I go there and it's like, oh, click this link. It's in like some language I've never seen. Click this link for whatever. You can make out like 5 words and none of them are good.
No. Now, are those comments, I hate to get off subject here, but are those comments held, on the video?
No, I can delete them and report them. Once you report them for like pornography or whatever, or inappropriate content, like they get deleted immediately and it gets reported and they get banned or whatever. I never see the same person twice, but it's all bots. So you can't really get past it. But that's probably 50% of the comments I get on my video. So if you haven't commented yet, hey, throw me a comment, whatever you want. Go like and subscribe to Supreme Gecko or Supreme
The gates are open.
Yeah, they're open.
The invite has been sent.
We hit 260
on ISO Buddies with your words that you shouldn't use anywhere else.
Yes, don't use these words at Supreme Gecko. But if you do have a time machine, go back and like and subscribe to this video as soon as you log and enjoy your. I can't even remember what you call Jolly Ranchers now. It's been a good video.
What did you call it? Jolly
Rogers.
Jolly
Rogers.
Have we ever met a celebrity at a show?
I'm trying to think. Well, we know Dave Kaufman. He's kind of I think a lot of people know Dave. So if you know leopard geckos, I've met Steve Sykes. We've talked several times. Steve Chamelli from Leaping Lychees. Celebrities, that's kind of tough. Not a true celebrity. No, I take it back. Who's the Chad, the fellow that had the snakes, his place burnt down, unfortunately. Can't think of his last name. Former football player. I don't know. Met him a couple of times. Oh gosh, nobody likes Slash or somebody like that used to keep snakes.
That's I was hoping that was going to be your go-to, like somebody from a hair band. Like that's awesome. That's awesome.
Cassandra wants to know, who did you look up to before you got going? Would that be Jim? Before you started doing shows? For
shows specifically, it was Jim and another fellow. His name is, I'll do a quick shout out. Nobody cares and nobody knows. Jeremy Leckie. I remember doing shows. I've got a great story with Jeremy, if I may. I started breeding leopard geckos. I went to many shows and bought several of Jeremy's animals and talked to him. Did my first show. Temperature sexed everything out for my leopard geckos to be females, and got to the very first show, and I look at the animals after I packaged them up and priced them all out as females and everything. Brought them, put them down on the table and started looking at them, and it's like every one of them has a bulge. Oh my God, they're all males. Oh no. So I'm quickly going through, and I think Jeremy saw me doing this frantic. First show, it's 10 minutes, and I've got to reprice everything and rename. And so he walked over. What's going on, Wally? Oh, Jeremy, I called them females and they're males, and oh my gosh, I'm in a world of hurt here because I've done everything wrong, and this show's going to suck. So he picks one up and goes, "It's a female." I said, "No, it's not. It has a bulge." Like I'm trying to tell somebody that's been in the hobby for 10 years what a male and female is.
Right.
And he puts it on the table. He says, "Look at it." And I pick up. It has a bulge. He goes, "Wally, that's not a bulge. You're feeding your animals too much. It's fatty tissue. That's a female." Oh, so he did it in a funny, sharing, but he took the time, started the show.
Yeah.
He didn't have to, and he walked over and he kind of held my hand through a very kind of emotional time, and it's I talked to him a lot after that, and just a good guy, and that was a good experience that I've tried to carry forward as well.
I like that. And then I want to know who got you started in all this. Like reptiles in general, like what?
Oh, yeah,
I can go back to a name.
I used to keep tropical fish, and I visited a friend through business out in LA right after a major earthquake, or right before a major earthquake. I'm sorry. So he had probably about 30 or 40, just the most expensive cichlids around. But when I walked into his house, I had kind of almost self-invited myself to see his fish room. Great guy and everything. He had talked to the Milwaukee Aquarium Society. We had set up, talks and everything with him. But went to see him, walked into his front door, and here was a, floor to ceiling, 6 foot by 6 foot cage with Jackson chameleons in it. And I was way into fish at the time. And I always thought, if I ever get out of fish, someday I want chameleons in a big enclosure like this. So it was years after I got out of fish, probably, I don't know, 15, 20 years after I got out of fish.
You're not that old.
I am that old. So it was 10 years after I got out of fish, 15 years, I don't know. And the very first reptile that I ever went out and got was a veiled chameleon. And then we got pygmy chameleons. Then we got Jackson chameleons. And then we got panther chameleons. So all of these chameleons preceded leopard geckos and crested geckos by, like a year or two. So there's where my start came from.
Because you were around when cresteds kind of came onto the scene in the first place. Like they have not been in the.
They hadn't been
a crazy amount of time. It's been like 25 years.
Yeah, the big one back then was harlequin. So if you had a nice harlequin, not a full harlequin, not a tricolor, you had a harlequin. That was, pie in the sky. And right about that time, some of the reds were starting to come out, and I got into the reds. So yeah, it was Cresses weren't in the hobby for maybe 5, 6, 7 years at that time.
Okay. That's crazy. It's crazy that it's been that short of a time. So,
Exactly.
well, I'm going to wrap it up because it's getting really long as usual. It's always like almost 2 hours when you're on, and it's
He
great.
didn't have dinner.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh, I don't need you to be hangry.
Ask me that isopod show. I'm getting hungry.
I got to know what's in the bag.
You
What's
don't
in that
like
bag
this.
today?
What's
There's
in the
no
bag?
way.
What's in the
There's-
bag?
What's in the bag?
There's no way you talked Nanette into eating veggie isopod chow. There's no way. That's not granola.
I'm pretty influential here. You're underestimating my mind melt powers.
I think I'm estimating Nanette's resistance that she's built up over 37 years, 38 years. So, guys, thanks for coming on. Everybody's been here the whole time. Frank was here before we started. Frank was the first one in the room, I think.
Frank's always the first one in the room. It's great.
It was Frank or Victor starts at 6:30 p.m. Victor's logged in and ready to go. So he is my super fan. Yeah. I've got so many good fans. So guys, go to supremegecko.com. Check out their isopod information if you need any isopod information for your guys. If you need more than what's listed there, Wally's more than happy to educate you in some sense. You can find him over on IsoBuddies. I'm sure he's in just about every other isopod group. It's isopods.
Jolly Ranchers are.
We know. Yep, we know what Jolly Ranchers are now. If he misses your question, he will get in his time machine to go back and find it, and then he'll answer it timely, so you didn't know he already answered it. That's happened to me in text form a couple times with you. So check him out. Buy him a coffee. Go to his videos and check out that link. I'm not going to post it here. You can check out our Patreon here. I'll post that link too because I never do. You can. What else can you do? IsoBuddies on Facebook. You can go there. What is this?
It was a dance. You didn't catch that? That was my dance.
Was that for the Patreon? That was good.
That was for Frank.
Frank wants you to put a video or put something on the website with you dancing.
I need to watch more of your live streams and check out the. I didn't know how to read the comments as they were coming in. Like you have to actually click a button because they don't just show up. So as always, you guys would be answering questions, and I'd be like, "Oh, I wish I could see those." Duh. Duh.
Live and learn.
That's literally why I wasn't answering questions ever on my show because I'm like, no one can see them anyway. Why would I?
Oh.
Yeah. Now I just get too involved in the conversation, and I just am like, I'm going to ignore you guys for a little bit and do this. What else? Yeah. Thanks for coming by tonight, guys. I had a great time. Wally, thanks for bringing Nanette.
Always a pleasure on our side. Always.
I want to do an episode with just Nanette sometime.
It could be dangerous.
I can go with that. I'm fine.
I think that would be great. I don't know if that would happen. I think you guys are too good as a pair. It's too fun to watch you guys as a pair. It's great to see you tease each other so much. Is so funny, and know that it comes from a place of love. Is
Yeah.
And thanks for letting me change your name for the
first time. End button. Yeah. Then the love's gonna fly all over the place.
Hey now.
You called me a what?
Just get in your time machine and erase it. She'll be fine.
You're fine.
Change your answer.
You ignore me anyway, so.
Oh, Frank wants to see Nanette dance.
Yeah, that I did once, and it's not going to happen again. And
that would be crazy.
Too bad.
It was at your wedding, right?
No,
he
made me dance in a video within the last month.
You didn't
Frank did?
That?
He did.
I did. I made her dance.
I haven't seen a whole lot of your live streams. I don't watch a lot of live streams.
No, this was a
regular
video. This was the thermometer. Throw this away, or is this okay? Or
first 45 seconds.
It's like two weeks ago.
Okay, I got to check that out. Was that the one where it's like Rivet Rita, Nanette? She's in like construction gear. You photocopied her face or photoshopped her face onto a cartoon construction worker lady.
No, that video was the shipping station that she built.
Yes, it was. Okay, all right. Yeah, because I was like, I didn't see a dance in that one. I watched that one because I was like, she's going to kick his butt for this thumbnail right here. She's going to lay him out. It's a great Photoshop. It's a great thumbnail. So, yeah, guys.
Stay in drugs and don't do school.
Frank with the perfect advice. All right. On that note, this video is not for kids. I'm glad I put it that all these videos are not for kids. Guys, thanks so much, and keep doing what you're doing. And that's all I have to say too.
Yeah. You too.
Yeah. And anybody that comes to the show, introduce yourselves, please.
Everybody comes to the show, yeah.
Time too.
Yeah, because they might not know who you are just by seeing you. So definitely introduce yourself and avoid that weird moment that I had with Wally, where I assumed he knew who I was. And he's like, yeah. You'll see his face like, oh, hey.
If I use the word buddy or pal or
Who the heck you
friend or
he'll immediately be like, oh, hey, Jim, or whatever. If he knows you, like, hey, you'll see his face light up. And then otherwise, like, half a step backwards, like, are you a tax collector? Like, what's the deal? Like, who are you? Trust no one. To all my audience and my existing patrons, I love you guys. I love everybody. So keep that love going. And we'll talk to everyone later. And next